You are probably just wanting all this to end, all the uncertainty concerning the risks to health of coronavirus, the uncertainty regarding all the plans that we've all made and the uncertain impact on our daily lives. You know, we just want it to stop. We just want things to go back to normal. And then there is the financial news with reports of, large falls and recoveries in markets that add to our sense of panic. Like you say, probably like me, you're thinking the world's gone mad. I just want things to go back to normal. Although after recent years, I think we may want to rethink our definition of normal. When it comes to our investments, we have been here before. Markets have behaved like this before, and it is worth reminding ourselves of the fact. But a description of our rational selves that states how we should behave differs from the description of our emotional selves, which describes how we want to behave or maybe are actually behaving. If you've heard my presentations or podcasts before, you will have heard that as individuals, we are faced with hundreds of decisions every day, and we cannot be fully informed about all of them. We have to make assumptions and take mental shortcuts. Otherwise, we wouldn't get from under the bedclothes in the morning. And even if we wanted to be fully informed, we are wired to avoid that kind of cognitive, effortful processing. And we react instinctively and emotionally. If you're standing in front of a bear trying to rationally calculate whether the blow of its paw is strong enough to kill you, then you're already dead. And we have our fight or flight responses. And whilst these have been helpful in getting us to the top of the food chain, they're not always helpful when facing financial issues in the 21st century. So as an investor, you may feel that you just want to flee, you just want it to stop, you just want to get out of there, maybe sell everything and make it all go away. You may feel that you're standing in front of the financial bear, but let's just stop and think, maybe just pause and really listen, because how scenarios are framed or described really does matter. When situations are framed in terms of gains, we tend to be risk seekers. When they're framed in terms of losses, we're risk avoiders. And this can influence investors to buy high when all the headlines and conversation is optimistic, and sell low when it seems that the world is going to hell in a handcart. And this, of course, is irrational. I'd also make the point that several news anchors and program hosts do not help by trying to be the news rather than just reporting it. The questioning seems to be designed to create a sensational headline rather than leave us with an informed and balanced picture. But that's probably a subject for a future podcast. We frame our gains and losses from the reference point of what we currently have, and we feel the pain of loss more intensely than we appreciate the pleasure of gain. So it's likely that you feel more pain to see a portfolio valuation fall than the pleasure you would feel to see an equivalent rise. Maybe you have been here before, but anyone who worked with their advisor in 2008 was told by them, yes, I know it hurts, I know you want it to stop, but stay invested. That single decision has had a huge positive impact on the wealth of the individual and that of their family. But it's hard, really hard, to be counterintuitive. You may have seen posters from a recent campaign that we compiled. In times of financial turmoil, don't just do something, sit there. Don't just do something, sit there. In the same way that maybe you decided to or persuaded to by your advisor to do so in 2008. In other words, not to panic, not to sell, but just to sit tight. And remind yourself as well of the purpose behind your investing in the first place, and bracket your view across that time frame, not just tonight's headlines or last night's headlines. The different outcomes we experience from decisions we make based on the time frame we use is a fascinating subject. It's our loss aversion combined with narrow bracketing that can lead to behaviours that are most detrimental to investors. Looking at a relatively small part of the investment journey does not really help us. Advisors and clients must keep talking to each other. Many clients need advisors to help them not behave in a way their future selves will come to regret. Often we need our advisors to be our shortcut to rationality, and so communication is vital. So it's the combination of our aversion to loss and narrow framing that can lead to poor outcomes. So let's remind ourselves of why we invested in the first place. And let us remind ourselves that we've been here before, and that acting rationally by holding on or even increasing our investments proved then to be a wise decision. In times of financial turmoil, don't just do something, sit there. I guess in the same way that if you're feeling unwell at the moment, don't do anything, don't just do something, sit there. But as I believe Richard Thaler said, if you want to really achieve something in life, spend an hour a day staring out of the window. And he won a Nobel Prize for economics. So maybe all of us should don't just do something, maybe sit there and stare out of the window for a bit. And in these difficult times, please look after yourselves and let's look out for each other.